I actually contemplated not making a video on Ray because it feels like we know so little about him. We can hardly rely on anything he says apart from a few brief moments where he lowers his tone of voice and mutters something ambiguous about his past. There's a lot of big things like his general motivations in participating in the DRB, as well as small details like his blood type that just haven't been revealed yet. So, due to a lack of information we have on Ray, I feel like all that can be done is to place him abreast to the sources that have inspired his character and speculate from there. That means we'll be taking a look at Firebirds, Major League Baseball, and Norse mythology. I also talked with Mare, a certified Ryoshi, to help get some perspective on the mysterious third man of Dotsui Hompo. So you started with your favorite character as Jiro, so tell me about how you felt about Ray once he was introduced.
Oh my god, okay. So when I was the biggest fan of Buster Bros at the time, I was a little distressed at how insular they were character-wise, because all of the other characters, most of them, were adults. And so they could, like, interface with each other a lot more easily with their jobs and stuff. But with Buster Bros, Jiro and Saburo didn't get a lot of crossover because they're kids, which kind of limited their ability to interact with the other characters. And then Dotsui Hompo dropped, and I was like, oh god, oh my god. I was actually not very impressed with Ray at the beginning when he dropped, because I only saw the, like, preview intro art of them on Twitter. That was my first understanding of his character. And I was a little shocked because the gap in appeal of Ray versus the other characters was pretty large, because it seemed his design was a lot older than everyone else. It felt like there was a tonal difference there. But then the drama track summary started dropping and everyone realized he'd been in the manga talking to Saburo and was working with Otome, and he was suspiciously similar to the bros with his MC name and the eye covering. And I just realized that all these crazy info was just stacking layers of absurdity onto him right from the beginning. And I realized, oh my god, this man is the funniest character in the series. Wow. I was like, I made too many jokes about him. Oh no, I actually like him now.
Ray's mysterious and clouded backstory clashes with his bright and gaudy wardrobe that matches the stereotype of loud Osakan fashion. Plus, it adds to his image as a high-rolling underground businessman.
His outfit himself I find pretty funny because he's dressing exactly like what you would expect a con man to look like. It's showboating. Like, it isn't subtle. Yeah. If you were a con man and you were actually trying to fool someone, you would not wear this. It's like, it's a huge joke to him.
Yeah.
But also, I think obviously the necklace on his thing is 0 for Ray. Symbol-wise. Yeah, Ray for 0, and then
I've heard, like, multiple theories where some people say it's an eye, some people say it's, like an Ouroboros, like the snake.
Spooky! I guess he does have that one weird Catholic outfit with the snake!
Yeah, well, he has a snake on his belt buckle, too.
Yeah! Gosh, there's so much going on there. And then the snakeskin pants, god.
In Dotsui Hompo's group song debut, Division Rap Battle Plus, Ray makes reference to the snake Jormungandr from Norse mythology. After being tossed away into the sea, Jormungandr grew long enough to encircle the earth and bite its own tail. And when Jormungandr lets go of its tail and rises from the sea, it's a harbinger of apocalypse and the restart of the world. In his introductory song Faces, Ray says his aim is revenge in katakana, but in Japanese, rebenji usually just means to try something again. Ray likes to start over and over rather than work within limitations. He hates rules and despises boredom, and clearly enjoys watching things as they burn around him. It feels like Ray doesn't have anything to lose because he's not even playing the game. He's just the bookie that's making off with all the profits. Ray's speaker is incredibly fitting for his shady persona. It's as flashy as he is, distracting us from discovering whatever secrets it's blocking from view. Perched atop his speaker is a Chinese phoenix, identifiable by its pheasant's head and peacock's tail. Chinese phoenixes symbolize prosperity and appear on the back of the 10,000 yen bill. Ray's mic also takes on a stylized version of the mythical bird's silhouette.
Of course, then for how modern his outfit is, his speaker is way more traditional, like the folding screen and the Ho-Oh Chinese Phoenix thing. Obviously, it's like the symbol of the imperial family. of generally being in charge and divinely chosen, but I read up that it also symbolizes like new eras of peace, which kind of makes me emotional. Like, for all of his awfulness, through the rise of the hypnosis mic, Ray has done more to end violent death than almost anyone in the series.
People like to kind of describe the Hypmic setting as like this dystopia, and it's really interesting because it's like, well, kind of, but like also like all like nuclear weaponery is being disarmed, and like
it's like it used to be so much worse.
Like, it used to be a lot worse. Like this is post World War III, where the hypnosis mics like are supposed to be this alternative to violence. Now it's a little tricky when the words are like punching you in the brain. It feels violent,
right?
But...
It's like, okay, there's the physical aspect of getting your shit wrecked by a good rap, but I mean, you know, it's literally giving words power, and I just think that's so cool. Of course it turned into rap battles, duh!
Chinese phoenixes are also said to be immortal, but they aren't associated with the same death and rebirth cycle that Western phoenixes are, despite the theories that the legends share the same origins. Though, I think it's worth noting that if there is anything Ray is good at, it is scrapping the status quo and rebuilding from zero. This is what he did to the Japanese government by supplying Odin with hypnosis mics. This is what he did to his relationship with his sons by erasing his presence in their lives only to reappear after all these years. This is what he's done to Ramada's existence as he clones him over and over. This is what he's done to his own public identity, where he's now Rei Amayado, the self-proclaimed con man, rather than Rei Yamada, the military scientist. What do you think of Rei as a father? Yeah, here's the hot button question for you.
Oh, he's bad. Like at the baseline, objectively, he gave the bros up without explanation, which is pretty severely traumatic. Yeah. I think he's deeply aware of this, though. Like, despite having given them up, Ray seems to like blatantly act like a hypocrite without remorse about it. I'm always thinking about the time when he criticized Otome for the way she treats dice. Or when he was like, well, that's inhumane, regarding the way she treats Ramada, even though he's the one making and selling the Ramada. Yeah! He's like making bad choices and he knows they're bad, but that doesn't stop him from like commenting on the bad choices of other people. So it's weird. He's in a weird, like, he knows what he did was wrong, but he can't change it, so he's just going to move on from that. I think there are hints that he's done what he can to make it better, checking in on Saburo as number 9 over the years, and he did save Ichiro from those thugs once in the manga, even though it was unwelcomed. Of course, this would be creepy and boundary crossing as hell in real life, but you know.
Yeah, like, you can't tell if, like, oh, he's, like, trying to just keep an eye on them, like, from afar, or if he's just, like, being super creepy and weird.
Yeah. It's like, are you treating these as your children, or are they still pawns? What's going on here, buddy?
Ray's status as a widower scientist responsible for groundbreaking weaponry made through questionable means and overall reputation for being a terrible dad calls back to a certain character from the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion. The parallels between Ray and Gendo are the main argument among fans for the Ramada Buster mom theory, which is the theory as to who the original Ramada is that has the most traction in the fandom. And the last fan theory we had about a mom and Hypmic did end up being correct, so who's to say? But regardless of what happened to Buster Mom, there's at least 3 characters confirmed to be running around with her DNA, presumably thanks to Ray's wit, charm, and fertility. He is the only character in Hypmic's main cast to be a biological father, which was officially revealed in the Helter Skelter drama track, confirming many fans' hunches that the new guy with heterochromia was indeed related to the other guys with heterochromia.
When he was first dropped, he had those sunglasses on all the time, and we realized that in all of the art they obscured one of his eyes, so everyone was really suspicious.
What's notable about Ray's eyes isn't just the color, but the scar over his right one. This, paired with his role as a literal father and the metaphorical father of the Hypmics, causes Ray to resemble a more renowned father figure than that of Gendo Ikari. That is, the All-Father, as he is known in Norse mythology. Odin, chief of the Norse gods, has an affinity for alcohol and, by extension, poetry and spoken word. He donned a hat and cloak and took on a new identity while questing for knowledge from a well at the foot of the Tree of Life, and achieved near omniscience in exchange for his right eye. We don't know exactly how Ray injured his eye or how he developed the technology for the true hypnosis mic and its predecessors. We can only guess what sacrifices Ray has made to end up where he is now, where he may have set on this course with good intentions in order to impact the lives of others for the better rather than for the worse. But even if that is the case, he recognizes what matters is the result rather than the intention.
Well, I can't really get mad about people misunderstanding or underestimating him because it's like, yes, that's what he wants people to take away from his presence. He's playing the villain, and when people react to that, that's what he wants. He's a box with a false bottom, hoping for people to find the false bottom and think that's all that's there, and then leave. But something I do think that goes unnoticed as a character quality, though, is Ray's general commitment to physical nonviolence. Like, we mentioned this earlier, but the existence of the hypnosis microphone at all is the peak example of this. But also, like, when Rosho tried to punch him in that first drama track, he called it outdated. And come on, you gotta use your hypnosis mic now, kids. And then when that one lawyer in the manga pulled a gun on him, he fought it with the mic, etc. Like, he does all kinds of crazy, morally questionable shit, but he specifically does not use physical violence.
That's a really good point. His quote that's like life has no value unless it has an impact on other lives. I've been looking into like the context for that, and it's a Jackie Robinson quote. He was a very big activist for nonviolence. So
no way! Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of these like bizarre coincidences where he also had like a military career before he got into baseball. He also
holy moly, what?
He was drafted. He also had 3 children. They weren't all boys.
Oh my god.
They weren't all boys, but like he had 3 of them. Later in his life, due to his declining health, he lost sight in his right eye.
Oh my god. No, stop! Oh my god! My brain! That's so funny. I love it. Oh my god. But yeah. I feel like this is like one value that Ray has stuck to. And we've seen him go all over the place, but that one.
Yeah, so that's another really interesting parallel.
Yeah, holy gamoli! Oh my god.
Ray's character could have also been influenced by Jackie Robinson's enlightenment on the economic side of things. Ray's attitude that money talks falls in line better with Jackie Robinson's beliefs as a businessman than as an activist. In context, Ray's official quote originally referred to the social responsibility Jackie Robinson felt that he owed in an unjust world. But when applying this quote to Ray's character, it's not specified if the impact one has on others is supposed to fall under good or evil. What matters in Ray's case is simply leaving your mark. And Ray has certainly achieved that thanks to the domino effect of his invention, where creating the hypnosis mics means Ray is literally the mastermind responsible for all of Hypmic's setting and story. Within Universe, we have Ray to thank not just for Dotsui Tarihompo coming to be, but for all the Hypmic characters assembling for our entertainment. From here, Ray's master plan will continue to unfold and continue to keep us guessing, as we piece together how he's had everyone dancing in the palm of his yaoi hands all along.